Hi everybody. Let's take a minute today and review and kind of go over again what we talked about in section 7 here of chapter 2 when we were looking at how we transform quadratic functions. What happens when we do certain things to the function itself. Now hopefully you're remembering that the parent function is y equals x squared. I'm going to graph that here on Desmos. Go, and you see our parent function there. Notice our vertex is right here at 0, 0. That's going to be one of the things you want to watch as we go through this video. Where does the vertex go? The other thing you're going to want to watch eventually is what's happening here with the sides. Are they getting narrower or are they getting wider? Alright, first thing I want to talk about are vertical shifts. So here's our parent function, y equals x squared. That's going to stay here for right now. And now I'm going to add a second function. Y equals x squared plus 3. Watch where it goes. Where did the green graph go? It shifted up 3 spaces. Now watch what happens if I do this. Y equals x squared minus 4. If we look back at our parent function, the red one, now notice where does the purple one go? It went down 4. So notice what happens in our equations. Whatever we add to the equation, that constant at the end, plus 3, makes the graph shift up. Subtracting, so in this case minus 4, makes it shift down. So there's our vertical shifts. I'm going to turn these graphs off. Actually, I'll just delete them for right now. We're back to just our parent function. Now let's look at what happens to make things shift left and right, to do a horizontal shift. So we'll start with another function. Y equals the quantity x minus 5 squared. Oh, look at where that one jumped to. It went to the right. Now I'll do another one. Y equals the quantity x minus 3 squared. Oops, not minus. Silly me. Plus 3. There we go. Notice this one shifted to the left. Isn't that great though that Desmos you can just go in and quickly change one sign and you can see exactly where it jumps. And that actually works out great in this demonstration because now we see exactly what happens. If we subtract a number from x before we square it, it shifts the graph to the right. If we add a number to x before we square it, it shifts it to the left. So really, we have to think about our horizontal shifts as being the opposite of what the sign that's written there. Vertical shifts, the same sign. Horizontal shifts, the opposite sign for the direction that we want to go. Now we could put these two things together, and I'm just going to edit this one and add a plus, oops, not a plus 8, that's too far, plus 4, look at that. Now the graph has shifted 3 to the left and up 4. Quick little change, notice I go minus 4 and it shifts down 4 instead. So the positive and negative on the vertical shift was happening to the equation after x has been squared, moves it up and down according to the sign. What you do to x before you square it shifts it in the opposite direction that you think. Plus goes left and minus goes right. Okay, now the other things we need to talk about are what happens if we suddenly make a negative sign here. Y equals negative x squared. That negative in front of the x squared there, that is what reflects our graph over the y-axis. Now we also need to talk about the stretches and compressions on the graph. Let's first talk about vertical stretches and vertical compressions. So we go back to our parent function. Y equals x squared. Now, notice what happens if I go y equals 2x squared. So if we were following order of operations to solve, we would square x, then multiply it by 2. Compared to the parent function, it got narrower. It stretched out and is following the y-axis. Now, I go y equals 3x squared. Gets even narrower. Now watch what happens though. I'm going to go back up and I'm going to turn this 2 into a 1/2. And I'm going to turn this 3 into a 1/3. Now look what happened. Now they went out on the outside of the parent function. And they got wider. Think about what's happening here as we think about what's happening with our vertical shift or vertical stretches and compressions. If we are stretching it, we're taking something, now think of something round here. We're taking it and we're stretching it out. We're making it longer, and that's what happened to our graph. If we're compressing it, and we're doing this vertically, so think about stuff coming in from the top and the bottom, we are smushing it, I'm trying to, and it gets a little bit wider. Look at my little ball of paper went from being roundish to being more pancake-ish. It got flatter, it got wider rather than skinnier. Stretching it vertically makes it skinnier like this. Vertical compression, as the name would suggest, smushes it and it makes it wider like that. All right, now that's the vertical stretch and compression. Now let's look at what happens if we try to do that to x before we square it. So before, when we did the shifts, as soon as we started doing things to x before we squared it, the opposite happened. Let's see if that happens again. All right, I'm going to start out here with, let's go with y equals parentheses, so quantity 2x, close parentheses, and square it. Oh, it got a little narrower. Let's look and see how it compares, though, to y equals 2x quantity squared. Ooh, it got narrower faster. So just a little point of comparison there. All right, now let's look and see what happens if I would turn that 2 into a 1/2. Oh, it got wider again. But how does that compare to y equals 1/2 x squared? Oop, it's wider than that one. So the horizontal compressions and stretches actually do a little bit more. They're a little bit more dramatic because you're doing it to x, then you're squaring it. Now the thing is, we've got to look at what's happening. Technically, this one here, the green one, is actually a horizontal compression because we are coming in, and here's my little ball again, ball of paper, and we are smushing it. Okay, so a horizontal compression. So if we have a whole number, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put this back on here. There we go, like that. Coming in from the side, and we're compressing it in. It's getting taller. So that's a horizontal compression because we're thinking about where the pressure is coming in from on the side. It's coming from the sides. If it's half, it's a fraction type here, then that's a horizontal stretch because we're stretching it out horizontally. We're making it longer. So if I said it backwards, the green one is a horizontal compression. When you have a number greater than 1, that's going to be your horizontal compression because you're smushing it in from the sides, from the horizontal sides, and so it gets taller. And then you're stretching out, we're looking at, because we're going horizontally, when we have the fraction, then it gets stretched out. I know that can be a little confusing. Fraction is the stretch on the horizontal. The whole number, the number greater than 1, is the compression. It's the opposite of what we think. So when you're reviewing this, make sure you're paying close attention to that and keep that straight in your mind, whether you're looking at something as vertical or horizontal compression or stretch. I know it can be challenging, but you can do it. Just make some good pictures for yourself and think about this demonstration of what's happening. The vertical ones, you're doing the work from above and below. Horizontal ones, you're doing it from the left and the right. Hopefully that will help keep things straight for you. So review this video if you need to. Take some extra notes for yourself. Look back in the book for some examples and some pictures. And of course, let me know if you have any questions. Right, thanks, and we'll see you in class tomorrow.